Commander Alina Reyes stood at the edge of the ancient ruins, her environmental suit sensors screaming warnings about the planet's toxic atmosphere. The three moons of Proxima VI cast an eerie purple glow across the crystalline structures that jutted from the ground like the bones of some long-dead giant. Her mission was simple: investigate the energy signature detected by orbital scans and determine if it posed a threat to the newly established human colony. The ruins stretched for miles, a maze of twisted metal and crystal that defied conventional architecture. Alina's boots crunched on fragments of an unknown material that seemed to pulse with a faint inner light. 20 years of military service hadn't prepared her for this. The alien technology surrounding her made Earth's most advanced systems look primitive in comparison. "Base, this is Reyes," she reported, her voice steady despite the unease crawling up her spine. "Moving deeper into the structure, energy readings are getting stronger." Static was her only reply. The ruins were interfering with communications, leaving her completely alone. The passage ahead narrowed, forcing Alina to squeeze through gaps between towering crystal columns. The energy signature grew stronger with each step, her handheld scanner's display climbing steadily. Then she saw it, a chamber that seemed to defy physics, with fragments of crystal floating in midair, orbiting around a central pillar of light. But it wasn't the chamber that made her freeze. At the base of the pillar lay a creature unlike anything humanity had encountered. Its body appeared to be made of living crystal, with intricate patterns of light flowing beneath a translucent surface. It was wounded, cracks spreading across its form like spider webs on glass. The creature's eyes opened, three of them arranged in a triangle and fixed on Alina. They glowed with an intelligence that sent chills down her spine. "You are not like the others," it spoke, the words appearing directly in Alina's mind. "Please, help me." Alina's training told her to retreat, to report this discovery immediately. First contact protocols were clear, but something in the creature's voice, the desperation and pain, made her hesitate. "I'm Commander Alina Reyes," she said, slowly kneeling beside the injured being. "What happened to you?" "I am Nyara," the creature responded, its mental voice growing weaker. "They hunt me because I know the truth about everything, about what's coming." Another crack appeared across its crystalline form, and Alina's scanner warned of destabilizing energy patterns. Before Alina could respond, an explosion rocked the chamber. Through the newly created breach stepped three figures in advanced combat suits, their designs unlike anything in Earth's arsenal. They raised weapons that hummed with deadly energy. "Step away from the luminary," one of them commanded in accented English. "This creature is property of the hegemony. Interfering will be considered an act of war against our species." Alina's hand moved to her sidearm, but Nyara's voice filled her mind again. "Please, they cannot take me. The fate of countless worlds depends on it." The sincerity in those words, the raw fear and urgency, made Alina's decision for her. In one fluid motion, she drew her weapon and fired at the chamber's ceiling, triggering a cascade of falling crystal that separated them from the attackers. "Can you move?" she asked Nyara, already pulling the creature up. "Barely," came the response. "But they will not stop. Once they find us, they will never stop." Alina activated her suit's emergency beacon, knowing it would bring help, and questions she couldn't answer. "Then we better make sure they don't find us," she said, supporting Nyara's weight as they moved toward a hidden passage she'd noticed earlier. "I don't know what's going on, but I'm not handing you over to them." As they fled deeper into the ruins, Alina knew she had just changed the course of not just her life, but potentially the future of human-alien relations. The creature leaning against her held secrets that someone was willing to kill for, and now she was involved whether she liked it or not. Behind them, the sounds of pursuit grew louder, but Alina pressed on. Sometimes doing the right thing meant breaking all the rules. As they navigated the twisted corridors, Nyara's voice echoed in her mind once more. "You risk everything to save me. But why?" Alina helped Nyara over a fallen column, her response immediate and firm. "Because it's the right thing to do, and because whatever truth you're protecting, it sounds like something worth fighting for." The ruins echoed with the sound of their pursuers, but Alina didn't falter. She had made her choice, and now she would face the consequences. Whatever secrets Nyara held, whatever danger they faced, she knew this was just the beginning of something much bigger than herself. The underground tunnels beneath the ruins twisted like a labyrinth, their crystalline walls pulsing with an otherworldly light. Alina's environmental suit sensors continued to flash warnings about the deteriorating atmosphere, but she pressed on, supporting Nyara's wavering form. The crystalline being's light had dimmed considerably, the cracks in its surface growing wider with each passing moment. "We need to stop," Alina said, guiding Nyara into a small alcove where the energy signatures might mask their presence. "You're getting weaker." She pulled out her medical scanner, though she knew it wasn't designed for alien physiology. Nyara's three eyes flickered dimly. "The hegemony's weapons. They were designed to shatter beings like me, to break us from within." The creature's mental voice carried exhaustion and something else, a deep, ancient sorrow. "They fear what we know, what we can reveal about their true nature." A distant explosion echoed through the tunnels, followed by the sound of falling debris. Their pursuers weren't giving up. Alina checked her weapon's charge, only 40% remaining. "I need to understand what I'm fighting for," she said, keeping her voice low. "What truth is worth all this?" Nyara's crystalline form shifted, and suddenly the alcove filled with holographic images, star systems, ancient structures, and terrible weapons that made Alina's blood run cold. "My people, the luminaries, are the guardians of the Nexus gates, portals that connect galaxies. The hegemony," Nyara's form shuddered. "They discovered that these gates could be weaponized, turned into devices capable of collapsing entire star systems." Alina's tactical mind raced with the implications. "They want to use you to access these weapons." "Worse," Nyara replied. "They already have. 3 systems have gone dark in the past month, billions dead, and now—" The holographic images shifted to show Earth. "Your world is next." Before Alina could process this revelation, her suit's motion sensors triggered. She raised her weapon just as a section of wall exploded inward. Through the debris stepped a figure that made Alina's heart stop. It wasn't one of the hegemony soldiers, but a human in advanced combat armor. "Commander Reyes," the figure said, removing their helmet to reveal Captain Marcus Wade, her superior officer. "Step away from the alien, that's an order." Alina kept her weapon raised. "Sir, you don't understand what's at stake." "Oh, I understand perfectly," Wade replied, his voice cold. "The hegemony approached Earth's leadership months ago. They offered us protection, advanced technology, a place among the ruling species of the galaxy. All we had to do was help them capture any luminaries we encountered." The betrayal hit Alina like a physical blow. "We made a deal with them, even after they killed billions." "Sacrifices for the greater good," Wade said, raising his own weapon. "Last chance, Commander, the alien or your career, choose." Alina glanced at Nyara, seeing the fear and hope warring in those alien eyes. In that moment, she made her decision. "I choose what's right." She fired, not at Wade, but at the ceiling above him. The crystalline structure collapsed, buying them precious seconds. "Run!" Alina grabbed Nyara, practically carrying the weakened being through a side passage. Behind them, Wade's voice echoed with promises of retribution. But Alina had seen enough to know she'd made the right choice. Earth's leadership had sided with genocidal conquerors, and now she and this wounded alien were all that stood between humanity and a terrible mistake. They emerged into a vast chamber filled with ancient machinery. Nyara's voice suddenly strengthened in Alina's mind. "There, a gateway terminal. If I can access it, I can transport us to safety." The crystalline being stumbled toward a towering structure covered in pulsing lights. Alina took up a defensive position, watching both entrances to the chamber. "How long do you need?" "Minutes, but Alina," Nyara's mental voice carried genuine concern. "Once we activate this, there's no going back. You'll be marked as a traitor by your own people." The sound of boots on crystal grew closer. Alina checked her weapon one last time and smiled grimly. "My people were betrayed the moment Earth's leaders made that deal. Sometimes loyalty to humanity means standing against human authority." Nyara began interfacing with the terminal, its lights synchronizing with the patterns flowing through the luminary's crystalline form. Alina heard Wade organizing his forces, preparing for a final assault. She had maybe 2 minutes to hold off both human and hegemony forces. As the first attackers appeared in the doorway, Alina thought about everything she was leaving behind, her career, her home, her entire life. But as she opened fire, forcing them back, she knew she was fighting for something bigger. Sometimes the right path meant walking away from everything you knew. The terminal began to hum with power, ancient energies awakening after millennia of silence. Nyara's voice rang clear in Alina's mind. "It's ready, but Alina, you should know where we're going. Few humans have ever survived." Alina backed toward the gateway, still firing. "Good thing I've always enjoyed a challenge." The chamber filled with light as their pursuers breached the final defenses. Just before the gateway activated, Alina saw the look of fury on Wade's face and knew that this was just the beginning of their war. The light engulfed them, and Alina felt reality twist around her body. She was no longer just a commander in Earth's military. She had become something else, a defender of truths too terrible to ignore, an ally to a being of living crystal, and perhaps, if they survived what was coming, one of humanity's last hopes for redemption. Alina's consciousness slammed back into her body with the force of a planetary impact. Her environmental suit systems flashed with warnings as she collapsed onto a floor that seemed to be made of flowing light. The gateway travel had felt like being torn apart and reassembled one atom at a time. She fought the urge to vomit as her vision slowly stabilized. "First gateway travel is difficult for organic beings," Nyara's mental voice carried a note of sympathy. "But you handled it better than most." Alina pushed herself to her feet, taking in their new surroundings. They stood in a vast chamber that defied physics, walkways of pure energy connected floating platforms, and distant walls shifted like liquid mercury. But what caught her breath were the stars visible through the transparent ceiling, constellations she had never seen before. "Where are we?" she managed to ask, her voice hoarse. "The sanctuary of light," Nyara replied, moving with renewed strength. The cracks in the crystalline being's form were slowly healing, patterns of energy flowing more vibrantly beneath the translucent surface. "One of the last safe havens of my people, and now, perhaps, humanity's only hope." As if summoned by Nyara's words, other luminaries emerged from hidden passages, dozens of crystalline beings of varying sizes and colors, each radiating power that made Alina's suit sensors fluctuate wildly. Their mental voices whispered in her mind, a cascade of curiosity, suspicion, and wonder at seeing a human in their midst. One luminary, larger than the others with a deep blue crystalline form, approached them. "Nyara, you risk much bringing a human here, even one who helped you escape." "Elder Kylax," Nyara's mental tone was respectful but firm. "She chose to stand against both her people and the hegemony to save me. She deserves to know everything." The elder studied Alina with ancient eyes that seemed to peer into her very soul. After a long moment it nodded. "Show her." The chamber transformed around them. Holographic images filled the air, but these were different from before, more detailed, more terrible. Alina watched as the history of a conflict spanning millions of years unfolded before her. The luminaries, ancient guardians of knowledge and technology beyond human comprehension. The rise of the hegemony, a coalition of species driven by fear and greed. The discovery of the Nexus Gates' true potential as weapons. "The gates were never meant for destruction," Elder Kylax explained. "They were created to unite galaxies, to share knowledge and resources, but the hegemony found a way to corrupt their purpose. By overloading a gate's core with dark energy, they can create a cascade effect that collapses space-time itself." Alina watched in horror as the simulation showed entire star systems vanishing into nothingness. And Earth's leaders agreed to help them? Why? "Fear," Nyara answered. "The hegemony convinced them that cooperation was the only way to survive. They spoke of protection, of technological advancement, of power. They did not speak of the price, becoming complicit in genocide." A new luminary approached, its form a swirling mixture of green and gold. "There is more," it said. "Show her the resonance protocol." The holographic display shifted again, revealing schematics for a device of impossible complexity. "The hegemony believes they have mastered the gates," Elder Kylax continued. But there is one thing they do not know. The gates can be reset, purged of all corrupted programming, and restored to their original purpose. But the price? The price is extinction, Nyara finished. The reset would destroy any being connected to the corrupted network, the hegemony's leadership, their most loyal servants, and, the crystalline being turned to Alina, anyone who has accepted their technological gifts, including Earth's ruling council. Alina's tactical mind raced with the implications. How many on Earth have already been connected? Thousands, Nyara replied. Growing by the day, soon it will be millions. The hegemony calls it integration, but it is really preparation. When enough humans are connected, Earth will be unable to resist without destroying its own people. Then we have to stop it, Alina said firmly. We have to warn them, show them the truth. The elder's crystalline form pulsed with something like approval. Now you understand why Nyara risked everything to reach your world, why the hegemony hunted her so desperately. Knowledge is power, Commander Reyes, and the truth about their plans could shatter their control over Earth and countless other worlds. Before Alina could respond, alarms echoed through the sanctuary. New holograms appeared, showing multiple hegemony warships emerging from hyperspace. Somehow they had tracked them. Impossible, one of the luminaries whispered. The sanctuary's defenses should be impenetrable. Unless, Nyara's mental voice carried dawning horror, unless they are using the corrupted humans to track us, their connection to the network. Alina watched as more ships appeared, not just hegemony vessels, but Earth ships as well. She recognized the designs, the pride of humanity's fleet, now turned against its own people. Elder Kylax's voice carried the weight of ages. It seems, Commander Reyes, that your choice to help Nyara was only the beginning. Now you must choose again. Will you help us activate the resonance protocol, knowing it means the death of your own leaders? Or will you stand aside and watch as the hegemony enslaves not just Earth, but countless other worlds? Alina looked at the approaching fleet, then at the luminaries around her, beings who had guarded the galaxy's greatest secrets for millions of years. Finally, she turned to Nyara, who had trusted her when trust seemed impossible. Sometimes, Alina said, her voice steady despite the weight of her words, saving humanity means making impossible choices. Tell me what you need me to do. Sanctuary of Light transformed into a war room as the luminaries prepared for battle. Holographic displays showed the approaching fleet, 30 hegemony warships and 5 Earth vessels, all bristling with weapons that could tear through dimensional barriers. Alina stood at a tactical console, her military training kicking in as she analyzed their defenses. The sanctuary's shields won't hold against a concentrated assault, she reported, watching energy readings fluctuate. We have maybe 20 minutes before they breach the outer barriers. Nyara moved beside her, the crystalline being's form now fully healed but trembling with nervous energy. The resonance protocol requires time to properly calibrate. If we rush it, we risk destroying everything, not just the corrupted network. How long? Alina asked, already knowing she wouldn't like the answer. 1 hour, Elder Kylax responded, its blue crystalline form pulsing with concern. Perhaps 45 minutes if we divert all power from non-essential systems. Alina watched as the first wave of fighters launched from the enemy ships. We don't have 45 minutes. She turned to the assembled luminaries. But we might be able to buy that time. Your people built these stations. There must be defenses beyond just shields. The green-gold luminary from before, Alina had learned its name was Vex, stepped forward. There are automated defense systems, but activating them would drain power from the protocol's calibration. What about the gates themselves? Alina asked, an idea forming. You said they connect to different points in space. Could we use them to redirect some of the enemy forces, split their fleet? The luminaries exchanged glances, their mental voices humming with rapid communication. Finally, Nyara spoke. It's possible but extremely dangerous, opening multiple gates in combat. The energy fluctuations could be catastrophic. More catastrophic than letting them stop us, Alina challenged. She pointed to the tactical display. Look at their formation. They're not just coming to stop us, they're coming to destroy this place, to erase any evidence of what the hegemony really is. We have to try. Elder Kylax studied her for a long moment, then nodded. Commander Reyes is right. Vex, begin gateway activation sequences. Nyara, continue work on the protocol. The rest of you channel power to the outer defenses. We must hold. The chamber erupted into activity. Elena watched in amazement as the luminaries worked in perfect synchronization, their crystalline forms glowing brighter as they accessed ancient systems. Multiple gates began to power up around the sanctuary's perimeter, their energy signatures making her suit's sensors scream in protest. Then her blood ran cold as a familiar voice echoed through the sanctuary's communication systems. "This is Captain Marcus Wade of the Earth Defense Force," the transmission crackled. "Commander Reyes, we know you're in there. The hegemony has shown us the truth about the luminaries, their parasites, feeding off the energy of entire civilizations. Surrender now, help us stop them, and Earth's council might show mercy." Elena felt every eye in the chamber turn to her. She stepped forward and activated the comm system. "Wade, you're wrong. The hegemony is lying to you, to all of us. They're not protecting Earth, they're enslaving it. Look at what they've done to other worlds." "I've seen what they can offer us," Wade cut her off. "Power, knowledge, immortality. Why are you fighting this, Elena? Why stand with aliens against your own species?" "Because sometimes being human means standing up for what's right, no matter the cost." Elena cut the transmission and turned to the others. "He'll try to breach the North Quadrant. It's what I would do. We need to be ready." As if in response to her words, the first impacts rocked the sanctuary. Through the transparent ceiling, Elena watched as fighters engaged the automated defenses. Energy beams and plasma torpedoes crisscrossed space, creating a deadly light show. The gates activated one by one, their power causing reality itself to ripple. Some of the enemy ships found themselves suddenly transported thousands of light years away. Others were caught in the gravitational distortions, their hulls creaking under impossible stresses. But it wasn't enough. More ships kept coming, and Wade's vessel was leading a concentrated assault on their position. Warning lights flashed across every console as the sanctuary's shields began to fail. 30 minutes until protocol calibration," Nyara reported, her mental voice strained with effort. Elena watched as another section of shields collapsed. They wouldn't last 30 minutes, not like this. She turned to Elder Kylax. "The gates, you said they can be weaponized. Show me how." The Elder's form dimmed slightly. "To use them as weapons would make us no better than the hegemony." "No," Elena countered. "The hegemony uses them to destroy. We only need to defend. There must be a way to create a containment field, something to hold them back without destroying them." Nyara moved to her side. "It's possible, but it would require precise control. A single miscalculation could tear reality apart." Elena met her gaze steadily. "Then we better not miscalculate." The sanctuary shook again as another barrage hit their defenses. Through the chaos, Elena saw something in the luminaries' eyes, hope, mixed with fear. They had guarded these secrets for millions of years, and now they were about to share them with a human. But as Wade's ship launched another assault, they knew they had no choice. Either they trusted Elena with the power of the gates, or everything they had fought to protect would be lost. Elder Kylax stepped forward, its crystalline form glowing with ancient power. "Very well, Commander. Let us show you how to dance with the fabric of space-time itself." Space itself seemed to bend and twist around the sanctuary of light as Elena channeled the power of the gates. Her mind burned with ancient knowledge the luminaries had shared, every cell in her body alive with energy that no human was meant to control. Through the neural interface they'd created, she could feel the quantum fields, could see the very threads of reality. "Containment field at 70%, she called out, her voice strained. Sweat beaded on her forehead inside her helmet as she fought to maintain control. Around her, the luminaries worked in perfect harmony, their crystalline forms pulsing with power as they helped stabilize the incredible energies she was wielding. 15 minutes until protocol completion, Nyara reported, her mental voice tight with concentration. The corrupted network's destruction was within reach, but the combined Earth hegemony fleet wasn't making it easy. Through the quantum field interface, Alina watched as Wade's ship led another assault. His voice crackled through the comm again. "Alina, stop this madness. The containment field is tearing our ships apart." He wasn't wrong. The field she'd created using the gate's power was holding the fleet back, but the stress on their hulls was reaching critical levels. "Then stand down," she replied, fighting to keep her voice steady. "Look at your own sensors, Wade. Look at what the hegemony's really doing to our people." A new voice cut through the channel, cold, inhuman, metallic. "Captain Wade cannot stand down, Commander Reyes. His integration into our network is complete, as is the integration of your world's leadership. Earth belongs to the hegemony now." Alina's blood ran cold as she recognized the voice from her briefings, High Commander Zarek of the hegemony fleet. She watched in horror as Wade's ship began to transform, its hull sprouting crystalline growths that were dark mockeries of the luminary's pure forms. "The corruption spreads," Elder Kylax's mental voice carried ancient sorrow. "They twist our own essence against us." A massive blast rocked the sanctuary, and Alina felt one of the containment field generators fail. Through the quantum interface, she saw hull breaches forming in several Earth ships, their crews being exposed to vacuum. Without thinking, she reached out with the gate's power, creating emergency force fields to save them. The effort cost her. Blood trickled from her nose as the strain of controlling such power took its toll. "I can't hold them back much longer," she warned. 10 minutes until protocol completion," Nyara reported. "But Alina, your vital signs are failing. The human body wasn't designed to channel this much energy." Alina tasted copper in her mouth but didn't let go of the controls. "Then we better finish this fast." She reached deeper into the quantum fields, pulling more power through the gates. The containment field strengthened, but she felt something tear inside her with the effort. "Analyzing options," Vex announced suddenly. "There might be a way to accelerate the protocol, but it would require sacrifice." Elder Kylax moved forward. "Explain." "The protocol needs power, massive amounts of it, if we were to channel the energy currently maintaining the sanctuary's existence." "No," Nyara interrupted. "The sanctuary is our last haven, our only home." "A home means nothing if we fail here," Alina said, understanding dawning through her pain. "How many would die if we don't stop them? How many worlds would fall?" She looked at the tactical display where more hegemony ships were arriving. "Make the preparations." The sanctuary trembled as another assault breached their outer defenses. Through the quantum interface, Alina watched in horror as the corruption spread through the Earth ships, transforming them into twisted weapons of the hegemony. Wade's voice came through again, but now it was barely human, mixed with mechanical harmonics that made her skin crawl. "You cannot stop evolution, Alina," he said. "The hegemony offers perfection. Why do you resist?" Alina saw crews on the Earth ships fighting against the corruption, saw their terror as the changes overtook them. "Because perfection without choice is just another form of death," she answered, then cut the channel. 5 minutes, Nyara called out, "but the power requirements will be met," Alina finished. She turned to the luminaries. "Your people have guarded these secrets for millions of years. Let me guard them for just 5 more minutes." Understanding passed between them. Elder Kylax stepped forward, its crystalline form dimming. "You understand what channeling that much power will do to you." Alina smiled through the pain. "Better than you think. I can feel it already. The gate's energy is changing me. But maybe that's what humanity needs right now. A bridge between our species, a proof that there's another way." She looked at Nyara. "Begin power transfer. I'll hold them off." The sanctuary's lights flickered as its power was diverted to the protocol. Alina felt the energy surge through her, no longer trying to contain it. Her body began to crystallize, transforming as she accepted her new role. Through the quantum interface, she reached out to the corrupted Earth ships. "I'm sorry," she whispered, and unleashed the gate's full power. Reality twisted. Ships caught in the quantum wake began to break apart, but Alina's control was precise. Escape pods launched automatically. crews preserved even as their vessels were torn away from hegemony control. Wade's ship turned to fire its main weapon, but Alina was faster, using the gates to redirect the energy back into the hegemony fleet. "Protocol ready," Nyara announced. Alina, her form now more crystal than flesh, smiled. "Then let's rewrite the future." The resonance protocol activated, its power washing through the corrupted network like a cleansing wave. Alina felt the changes ripple through space-time as the hegemony's control was broken, their connections severed, their power stripped away. The cost was high. The sanctuary began to break apart, and Alina felt her consciousness fragmenting as the power overwhelmed her transformed body. But in those final moments, she saw the future she had helped create, Earth free from hegemony control, the corrupted leadership removed, and a new alliance forming between humans and luminaries. She saw hope. "Alina," Nyara's mental voice reached her one last time. "What you've done, you've changed everything." Through the dissolving quantum interface, Alina watched as the sanctuary's remaining power surged through her crystalline form. "Sometimes," she thought back, her human voice merging with something older, something eternal, "change is exactly what we need." The sanctuary collapsed, but its secrets were safe. And in the depths of space, a new form of life emerged, neither human nor luminary, but a bridge between worlds, a guardian of truths too important to forget, and a reminder that sometimes the greatest victories come from choosing to stand against impossible odds.